The Great Pie Caper. In the bustling town of Whimsyville, where the streets were paved with cobblestones and the air was perpetually filled with the aroma of freshly baked pastries, there lived two unlikely friends, Benny the baker and Max the mischievous mouse. Benny was renowned for his delectable pies, especially his famous blueberry pie that had won countless awards at the annual Whimsyville Pie Festival. Max, on the other hand, was known throughout the town for his insatiable love of, you guessed it, pies. One sunny morning, as Benny was meticulously rolling out his pie crusts and humming a tune to himself, Max peered through the window of the bakery with a mischievous glint in his eye. He had a cunning plan to get his paws on Benny's prized blueberry pie. Max scampered around the back of the bakery, plotting his next move. Meanwhile, inside the bakery, Benny was just putting the finishing touches on his masterpiece of perfectly golden blueberry pie, its sweet aroma wafting through the room. As he turned around to grab a cooling rack, he gasped in horror to find the pie missing from the windowsill where he had left it to cool. Max, Benny exclaimed, realizing who the culprit must be. He dashed out of the bakery, shouting at the top of his lungs, "Max, you rascally rodent, come back here." Max, with the blueberry pie held tightly between his tiny paws, sprinted down the cobblestone streets of Whimsyville, Benny hot on his heels. The townsfolk looked on in amusement as the chase unfolded, a baker chasing a mouse through the town square, both with a single-minded determination that was both comical and endearing. Through the town square they raced, past Mrs. Puddlefoot's flower shop, narrowly missing the buckets of tulips she had just set out for display. Around the fountain they darted, splashing water everywhere, much to the surprise of the ducks that were peacefully paddling in the pond. Benny was gaining ground, his flour-dusted apron billowing behind him like a cape of justice. Max, realizing he couldn't outrun Benny forever, ducked into the narrow alleyway between Mr. Wigglesworth's Cheese Emporium and Professor Tinkerton's workshop of curious inventions. Benny skidded to a stop at the mouth of the alley, trying to catch his breath. He knew he had Max cornered now. "Come on out, Max," Benny called out, trying to sound stern but failing to suppress a chuckle. "Give me back the pie and we can forget this ever happened." There was a moment of silence, broken only by the distant sound of a clattering noise coming from the alley. Benny cautiously approached, wondering what Max could be up to. As he turned the corner, he was met with a sight that nearly made him burst into laughter, a contraption made of cheese wheels and springs, with Max sitting triumphantly atop it, holding the pie like a trophy. "Behold, Benny," Max declared with a dramatic flourish, "the Cheesemobile. Faster than any mousetrap you could devise." Benny couldn't help but laugh. "Max, you are the most ridiculous mouse I've ever met," he said, shaking his head fondly. "But I suppose I can't argue with your creativity." With a sigh, Benny reached into his pocket and pulled out a slice of another freshly baked blueberry pie he had set aside for his lunch. He held it out to Max, who eyed it suspiciously for a moment before taking a cautious nibble. His eyes widened in delight as he savored the sweet flavors. "All right, Max," Benny said, smiling, "consider this your reward. Just promise me you won't steal any more pies." "Okay." Max nodded eagerly, his cheeks bulging with pie. "Deal," he squeaked between bites. And so, with the sun setting over Whimsyville and the townsfolk still chuckling about the day's events, Benny and Max forged an unlikely friendship over the love of pies, one baking them, the other occasionally trying to steal them. And while Benny's blueberry pies continued to win awards at the annual Whimsyville Pie Festival, the legend of Max the mischievous mouse and the Great Pie Caper would be told for years to come, bringing laughter and joy to all who heard it.